Talk Is Cheap is the debut solo album by Keith Richards of the Rolling Stones, released in 1988. Recorded and released during a long-standing falling out with Mick Jagger, Talk Is Cheap received positive reviews upon its release. Background: relations between Jagger and Richards had grown tense into the third decade of the Rolling Stones as they began to disagree on the musical direction of the band. You Don't Move Me would be written about their feud. The image-conscious Jagger was keen to follow the trends and keep the Rolling Stones current, while Richards wanted to preserve their reputation and roots. When Jagger was more interested in pursuing his solo career instead of touring for Dirty Work in 1986, Richards began a solo project for the first time. Richards teamed up with Steve Jordan, who had worked on Dirty Work, and the pair wrote several new songs, one of which, Almost Hear You Sigh, would be placed on the Rolling Stones' Steel Wheels in 1989, with lyrical modifications by Jagger. Recording began in August 1987 at Le Studio in Morne Heights, Quebec, and continued sporadically until the following May with visits to Montserrat and Bermuda. In order to assert his independence further, Richards signed with Virgin Records. While the Rolling Stones were under contract to Sony Music, they followed him to Virgin in 1993. The core of the band, called the Expensive Winos, consisted of Waddy Wachtel, Ivan Neville, Charlie Drayton and Steve Jordan, with many guest artists taking part in the recording, including Sarah Dash, Bootsy Collins, Maceo Parker, the Memphis Horns and Patti Alpha, and the only musician from the Stones to appear, guitarist Mick Taylor. Outtakes later surfaced that included an 8-minute version of Struggle and 2 passes at Almost Hear You Sigh, as well as 2 unreleased jams, the 14-minute She Put the Mark on Me and the 12-minute Break-In. Released in October 1988, Talk Is Cheap was met with critical acclaim. Some reviews half-jokingly called it the best Rolling Stones album in years, and it peaked at number 37 in the UK and number 24 in the US, where it went gold. Make No Mistake was later featured in an episode of The Sopranos and on the 2001 soundtrack album The Sopranos, Peppers and Eggs, music from the HBO original series. Track listing: all songs by Keith Richards and Steve Jordan. Side 1. Big Enough 317. Take It So Hard 311. Struggle 410. I Could Have Stood You Up 312. Make No Mistake 453. You Don't Move Me 448. Side 2. How I Wish 332. Rock a While 438. Whip It Up 401. Locked Away 548. It Means a Lot 522. Personnel: The Expensive Winos. Charts. Album singles. References: